My take on the current landscape for treatment of Alzheimer's disease, as well as the future landscape, is that we need to do something. So at the moment, I think pharmaceutical companies are very largely focused on anti-beta amyloid treatments, completely understandably. This was one of the pathologies that we identified 10 to 15 years ago, so I do understand why pharma have moved in that direction. And this is one of the areas that early detection should really affect. Tau, people are looking at tau therapies now, so we understand a lot more about tau and about tau propagation and how tau can be toxic to neuronal cells. But again, I think pharma have moved into this space. The other area I think is very promising is neuroinflammation, and I think this is a really growing area. But it's a very, very difficult area. And in fact, there was just a presentation now by Hugh Perry, and he was looking at the mindset that you increase inflammation or increase the immune response to get rid of misfolded proteins, versus you need to decrease the immune response because the inflammation has taken off and it's causing a lot of damage in its own right, to coming completely into the middle, and it's all about homeostasis. So it's not about increasing or decreasing, it's bringing everything back to a homeostatic balance, which, by the way, is an incredibly difficult thing to do, but a really interesting area. And the other reason I think neuroinflammation and looking at the brain's immune system is so important is that a lot of the risk factors in midlife are to do with systemic inflammation as well. So potentially, if we can reduce both systemic inflammation but also how that manifests into modifying the immune system in the brain, I think it could be tremendously important. The problem is lots of people are all working in the same space. Now, maybe that's what you have to do before you can bring forward a completely different mechanism and really take forward a beneficial and effective treatment. But there are lots of other areas, and I mentioned this before, but one area of huge unmet medical need is symptomatic treatments. So many years ago, pharmaceutical industry were looking at symptomatic treatments, mostly around cognitive impairment. But they all came out of that, and they all started to look at mechanisms for modifying disease progression, which is clearly really important, but they've almost forgotten all of the symptoms associated with dementia. And even if we do detect early, and even if we are able to slow down disease progression such that we move dementia beyond the stage when somebody dies, there are still a significant number of people who are currently living with dementia at various different stages, and their symptoms are just really desperate. They're really suffering. So if we do start to develop symptomatic treatments, and we've joined an effort called the Psychiatry Consortium that's about to be launched, and for us that's all about looking for treatments for psychiatric symptoms, then maybe we can do something about those people that are actually living with dementia right now.